Hello students, welcome to the answer writing program. Today we will be discussing 3 questions, 2 questions on this topic and 1 question from the current affair. So the 2 questions topic would be from GS3 Agriculture, Food Processing and Related Industries in India's Scope and Significance, Location, Upstream and Downstream Requirements and Supply Chain Management. Let's take an overview of all the 3 questions. The first one is related to the agro-based industries, especially food processing industries. Second is related to the upstream and the downstream requirements in the supply chain or in the production process. The next is related to the de-hyphenation strategy and the Israel-Palestinian conflict which is going on. So let's see all the questions and answers one by one. The first question is agro-based industries, especially food processing units, can alter the fate of rural India. Discuss. It's a 10-marker question and we have to write in 150 words. So the question is asking about the agro-based industries, especially food processing industries. So you can write in introduction about the food processing industries, or you can relate it with how this food processing industries have the potential to change the rural structure. Like you should know the rural issues, like there are the unemployment, there is poverty, there is agricultural distress, there is rural to urban migration and many more, lack of skilling, etc. So you can relate how FPI means food processing industries can do the improvement in already the prevailing bad conditions of the rural India. Or you can write the definition of the food processing industries. Food processing industries, industries which are dependent or does some processing, refining or the manufacturing of some raw material which is like the food items. So this is food processing industries. Like there is some raw material like food or agricultural raw material, raw produce. So these food processing industries do some value addition and comes up with the final product which goes in the market. So this is the food processing industries. Now let's see the body part. Now in the body part we have to write the significance of these agro-based industries or the food processing industries and how these industries can alter the fate of rural India. So the first one is reduction in the post-harvest losses. As FPIs have the facilities or the equipments for storage, for processing and for refining, and also this food processing industries can do the sorting, cleaning, grading of the food material or the agricultural produce. Otherwise, harms that can occur like the spoilage, damage during the transportation or due to the lack of infrastructural facilities earlier. Without these food processing industries, there are the huge post-harvest losses. But with the food processing industries, there is a reduction in the food or the post-harvest losses. So, when this post-harvest losses is reduced, it means we are left with the high raw material that can be processed, that can be refined, means that can be value added. Like for example, mango can be the raw material, is a raw material and this can be processed to the mango pickle or can be the mango juice. So these finished products or the final product has the higher market reach and also the higher market value. How market reach would be increased? Earlier, this mango would have the shorter shelf life or the limited shelf life, but these final product, these have the longer shelf life. So this can reach the market in the wider domain. And also these have the higher market values also. And with this higher market value, it means farmers are earning more. It means the incomes are more. And when the farmers' incomes increases, they can invest in modern agricultural practices, and when they can invest in the modern agricultural practices and the techniques, crop productivity would be increased. So this way again whole loop or the cycle starts. Then next is value addition, this is done. Then employment creation. When this value addition or the processing, refining or the manufacturing of the products is happening, it means this stage requires the skilled and the unskilled workers. It means this processing is generating the employment. And when through this employment generations people are earning, and also this thing we have seen that if the market value is increased, it means they are earning more, and also through this employment generation their incomes is getting improved. And when the farmer has the diverse source of the income or the revenues, it means they are financially stable also. Then next is crop diversification and the sustainable agriculture. And when the farmer is earning more, they can put their extra income in the sustainability of agriculture with the modern techniques, in the modern production process. And also, like if there is no food processing units, it means the farmer, small and the marginal farmer, and also like the large farmers also, let's talk about that, they are dependent on the government schemes like the MSP. If the government is providing the huge MSP on some cereal or the food grain production, so the farmers thinking of the profit margins, they only sow those food grains that are MSP dependent. It means they are doing the single crop production. But with this FPI, there is no issue of getting it rotten or getting no market. Now the farmer cannot be dependent only on the government. It has a huge market now. So the government, now the farmer can diversify its crop and give all the crops to the food processing industries. Now this all was from the farmer side. Now let's talk about the women as a farmer. We know that the women is mainly or oftenly involved in the agricultural practices or the post-harvest activities. With the food processing industries, women can have again the diverse option to do the employment, and also with the earned income, it can invest in its household, upliftment of the whole community can happen. Then with the establishment of the FPI, like the food processing industries, it necessitated the creation of other infrastructural projects, like the food processing industry requires electricity, requires the road connectivity, requires the communication lines, requires the processing units, etc. So it means the development of the one sector can have the positive spillover effect or the ripple effect over the other infrastructural sector. So this way the rural industrialization can happen. Then next is, with the advent of more and more infrastructure development in the rural domain, in the village domain, this promotes or encourages the small scale agro industries comes up and put the businesses. So this gives more employment, this boosts the economic growth of the region. So this is the whole scenario, that how the agro-based industries or the food processing units can alter the fate of rural India. So in conclusion, what we can write? We can write about the importance of the agro-based industries, that how they initiates the infrastructural development, how they can create the job opportunities, how the whole economic growth for that particular region can happen. Or this all initiatives requires the supportive policies and the investments from the government side as well as the private sector. So this way we can conclude our answer. Next comes the model answer. Let's see. Starting, agro-based industries importance, then how it can alter the fate of rural India, and finally conclusion. Now let's see the second question. Discuss the significance of essential upstream and downstream requirements in ensuring a robust and sustainable food processing industries. Means first we have to write what are the upstream, what are the downstream requirements, and why these should be robust. What is the significance of all these requirements for the sustainable and robust food processing industry? This is the question. Now, how we can start the introduction? We can write the definition of the upstream and the downstream requirements. So, we can write that the upstream and the downstream requirements are the essential elements in the production process or the supply chain. The upstream requirements are the early stage activities like as the procurement or the sourcing of the raw material, and the downstream activities or the downstream requirements are the later stage activities like the branding, marketing, processing and the distribution of the final products. So this is the intro. Now let's move on to the body part, that significance of the upstream requirement. Now food processing industry requires good quality material in bulk throughout the year. This is the demand of food processing industry. So from this line itself we can get all the upstream requirements. Let's see. We need, like food processing industries need the good quality material. How this? First, it requires some material, it means the raw material. So the raw material is the upstream requirement, and the good quality raw material, it means the primary processing should be done at the village level or the farm level itself, like the grading, sorting or the cleaning of the food grains or the food vegetables and the food products, so that there can be the good procurement or the good quality material is left for the procurement from the FPI. Now the FPI requires in bulk. It means the aggregation of the food material or the farm produce should be done at the village level, and FPI is also required throughout the year. It means like there are some perishable products, so FPIs, the upstream requirements should be the robust cold supply chain management should be there, so as to increase the shelf life of the farm produce, reduce the wastages and also to ensure the year-round supply to the FPIs. Next is it requires everything. How it will come from the farms to the FPI? Via transportation. So the connectivity should be there, transportation like reefer trucks, reefer vans should be there. So we have covered all the upstream requirements. Now let's see the downstream requirements. Now FPI has the finished products or the final product. Now it is ready to be sold in the market. So to get it sell in the market, what it is required? It requires a market. It means it requires some organized retail structure to channelize the finished products to the wider domain, like supermarkets, food markets and the food mart or the Walmart can be the example. Then if this final product is certified from some authority or the governmental agency, then it will build the trust among the public, like participatory guarantee scheme, which is a certification scheme for the organic products in India. Next, this final product, before getting into the market, it should have some brand name. So the branding is required. Strategically, marketing skills is required so as to reach the wider domain in the market. Next is market intelligence. So all the final products is finally getting into the market. If regular service or the intelligence would be there that what actually the market is requiring, so the FPIs can do that. So the continuous market surveillance or the market intelligence should be there for the downstream requirements. Now let's finally see conclusion. In this you can see, you can write some governmental initiatives like Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, Pradhan Mantri formalization of micro food processing enterprises, Operation Greens and PLI scheme that government is boosting through all these schemes to the FPI or the food processing industries, and it is ensuring the robust upstream and the downstream requirements for the supply chain. Now let's take an overview of this model answer. The first is the defining or the definition of the upstream and the downstream, then the significance of the upstream, then significance of the downstream, finally additional information regarding the governmental initiatives in this regard, and finally concluding the answer and the writing about importance of the upstream and the downstream and the FPI for the whole agriculture sector. Now let's see the third question. India's de-hyphenation strategy, balancing its historical support for the Palestinian cause with expanding economic ties with Israel. Discuss the impact of recent Israel-Palestinian conflict on India. So, there is a conflict going on between Israel and Palestine, and the question is asking what should be the impact on India from this Israel-Palestine conflict. So, in introduction, as the context is set about the India's de-hyphenation policy, so you can start with the definition of what is India's de-hyphenation policy, or you can give the brief overview of the Israel-Palestinian conflict. So, regarding India's de-hyphenation policy, what it is? It refers to as the deliberate shift in the India's approach towards the two rival or the conflicting nations. Now, this policy is about maintaining a separate and the independent relations with these two countries. Instead of linking up them together, we are taking a stand that we are considering both the nation as a separate and the independent identities. So, this way we are balancing our approach in the diplomatic arena also. So, this is the definition and the significance of this. And second, you can write about the Palestinian and the Israel conflict, that this conflict between the Hamas and Israel is a long-lasting and multifaceted and complex issue going on about the territory, authority and the security, and this can have the negative implication on India as well. Now, let's see the body. We have to write about this impact on India from this conflict. So, the first is about the foreign policy and the diplomacy. Historically, India has supported the Palestinian cause, but now after this de-hyphenation policy of India, taking both the countries together in the diplomatic arena could be a challenging task. Next comes the trade implication. India is Israel's third largest trade partner in Asia and the seventh in the global arena, and this conflict can have the negative trade implications. The trade can reduce. Next is the energy security. India's energy security is dependent on the imports, especially from this Gulf region. So, approximately 40% of the oil and 70% of the gas we import from this region. So, instability in this region can cause the energy insecurity. So, means we need the stable West Asia and we need the stable Middle East. Next is the defense ties. Very strong defense arena in the Israel and the security and the cooperation of India with the Israel, and India is importing, and India is also the very primary importer of the Israeli weaponry. So, this can again take a toll. So, the next is diaspora. Substantial Indians are living in Middle East countries. Approximately 9 million Indians are staying and working in the GCC countries. So, the destable or the political unstable this region is very harmful for the India and also have the negative repercussions on the diaspora living over there, and also this can impact the remittances flow to India. Next is security concerns. The unstable Middle East or the West Asia region has the negative implication on the India related to terrorism, related to the security concerns. So, this way we have seen the implications on India due to this conflict. So, what we can write in the conclusion? So, it's time that all the countries should come together for the peaceful resolution, and we can write about the definition of the global unity for the peaceful solution, like the Abraham Accord between Israel and Saudi Arabia. We can also talk about that all the regional powers should come up and work in this manner only towards achieving the peace in this region. So, this way this answer is completed. Now let's see the model answer. First, it is writing about the India's dehyphenation policy, then impact of India-Israel-Palestine conflict on India, and finally concluding with Abraham Accord. On the lines of the Abraham Accord, some regional powers should come together for the peace in the similar manner. So this way we have completed all the 3 questions. So that is it for today. Thank you and have a nice day.